Hello, Patriot. Good morning and welcome to the discussion.
Good morning, Victor Billion. It is indeed a pleasure to be with you this morning.
Now, Patriot, on a sad note, whilst a lot of political figures are keen-eyed on politicking and putting their 2027 ambitions to the fore, kidnappings in Borno and Oyo have left school teachers, principals, and pupils in captivity for over 4 days. This morning, most headlines on the newspapers also look at it from the angle of a legislative intervention as the Senate vows to expedite state police following the recurrent kidnappings across schools in the country. However, some experts in the field are warning that this might lead to an impending education crisis with the number of out-of-school children continually increasing. Let's get your thoughts and reactions to this or your school kidnap.
It is a very disturbing news, considering the areas in which this actually took place. Before now, we usually believe that kidnappings and security threats is more apparent in the northern Nigeria. And today, we're talking about the arts of the southwestern Nigeria, the capital, the then capital of the southwestern Nigeria, or your state. This is actually a big issue, a big threat, a security threat, and that's an effort to jeopardize that which has already been celebrated as a success in the areas of our security in Nigeria. We earlier announced improvement in the security of Nigerians by the Nigerian military. And then this particular news about the invasion of bandits and kidnapping of pupils in Oyo State actually leave majority of us helpless and disturbed. And then it has some adverse effect on so many things. It has a whole lot of effect on so many things. Like we rightly know that this is the period of politicking. And even in the northern Nigeria, we expected, based on the fact that we believe that some of these crises is sponsored to jeopardize activities in the country by some bad eggs within the country. And then since the inception and since the political activities has climaxed into some into major activities, we have seen decline in attacks by these bandits. But currently, during this era where politics is still very high, and we are seeing this attack, it actually disorganized that perception that some of this crisis is organized by some gladiator within the country. So federal government needs to do so much in trying to it's not about onslaught fighting, it's about intelligence gathering. It's about understanding the rudiment causes. It's about deploying intelligence and machineries in order to uncover the real cause of this kidnapping. And this is really going to leave a whole lot of people helpless in the southwest Nigeria. The current situation of the invasion of bandits in the southwest, before now, the crisis is more, we had more of this crisis in the north. But now that is now spreading to almost every part of Nigeria, is something that the federal government needs to stop ASAP as soon as possible before they establish their bases in the southwest. And that means that there is no place in the country that is safe. No area, no zone in the country that is safe. So that is really a bad news. It is pathetic, and federal government better comes out with a better strategies on how to curb this illicit spread of kidnappers.
Now, Patriot, let's also talk about something a lot of persons had applauded the Southwest for when they had talked about a joint security forum, a joint task force with the coming on board of different security outfits and the governors converging to have one central security vote. I'll go back to that notion that it might be sponsored. But Oyo has now become one of the points that has been hit. We'll talk about Governor Adeleke's response, but just in closing, would you regard that effort by the governors one in volatility despite this attack, or you just consider it a major setback?
First of all, you will understand that the southwestern governors, governments in the last few years have made significant efforts to work in unity to centralize the security of the whole southwest state by the formation of Amotekun Corps. The Amotekun Corps is one of the brainchild of the government of Southwest, and most of the security activities by this Amotekun and other security outfits that have been established in the Southwest are co-sponsored by the Southwestern governors. So by extension, this security meeting or any other meetings by the state governor in the Southwest is further to establish the fact that Southwest have its own unique way of securing their people. The Southwestern people are just one, and whatever attacks or whatever you see that just happened can never, jeopardize that result of the Southwestern people or the Western governor to secure the Southwest state. This attack is to jeopardize that effort, but I know that the resiliency of the people of Southwest will push that backward.
Now, thank you, Petro Desmond, for joining us to lend your thoughts on this discussion this morning. We'll go on a short break, and when we return, more to come on our newspaper reviews. Stay with us.
Welcome to the Niger Delta, a region of incredible beauty and stark contrast. From its breathtaking landscapes to its rich cultural heritage, this is a place where history and modernity collide. But beneath this serene surface lies a story of struggle and resilience. The Niger Delta is the lifeblood of Nigeria's economy, home to vast oil reserves that fuel the nation, yet it is a land where the people fight for their share of the wealth. Join us on the program Niger Delta Today as we explore the heart of the Niger Delta, discover the vibrant cultures, the struggles for environmental justice, and the stories of the people who call this place home. This is the Niger Delta, a land of contrast, a story of resilience, a journey of hope. Don't miss our exclusive series, Niger Delta Today, every day at 12 noon, only on AGBN TV. Witness the untold stories, experience the journey, be part of the change.
Now, thanks for staying with us on the program this morning. Still with us on the program, however, be it virtually, is Patron Desmond, who was lending his thoughts in reactions to the Oyo State school children's kidnapping. Now, more so, it's coming at a time when law enforcement has also been accused of deploying resources to track down those who speak ill of government policies. Recall, just a few days ago, the Justice Crack situation following his condemnation of the rations to military officers saw his detention and arrest, with him later being transferred to the DSS and his lawyer pulling out of the bail conditions. However, you'd find bandits making videos across different social media platforms with little done to track them down. This morning, another viral video has gone a-begging, with the police being asked to subject it to forensic tests. It's a video capturing the principal and teachers and other hostages involved in the Oyo school abductions, calling on the government to come to their rescue. Now, Patriot, what do you make of the news making the rounds that the police would indeed yield to the call to subject these videos to forensic analysis and be able to track down the hideouts of these terrorists?
Yes, for me, when something raises suspicion and some controversy, the best in order to establish fact is forensic. So if the police have some suspicion that certain issue or activities is being staged or planned or does not reflect the truth or the fact, then forensic investigation should be deployed. So in this case, I do not have any issue with that. The police can go ahead and carry out forensic, analysis and investigation on what we have seen, that has actually graced our social media and our television as kidnapping activities in Oyo State. But the most important thing is the fact that Nigerian government, the state government and the Southwest Governors Caucus needs to do more to ensure that the Southwest security is never jeopardized, because that will leave a whole lot of, it will leave a whole lot of activities, there. It will affect a whole lot of activities, economic activities, it will affect a whole lot of things, and that should not be allowed. Considering the level of population in the Southwest, insecurity, especially kidnapping, is not something we should allow in this part, because it will affect a whole lot of households and increased hunger and a whole lot of problems.
Now, Patriot, does it worry you that despite NIN-SIM linkage and all the efforts to strengthen our cybersecurity, when these videos go viral, we barely get any feedback that law enforcement has been able to use such technology to track the hideout of these kidnappers and flush them out? I know previously we've had this discussion on the program on ransom payment, because most times abducted persons are released, it almost seems as though they were ransom paid. What's your view on being able to harness technology to ensure that when incidences like this happen, technology can be deployed to trace the abductors and swiftly rescue these pupils, most of whom we hear are just about 2 years old in terms of the pupils abducted from the school?
Certainly, Bito, you're thinking the right way, For me, it baffles me a whole lot that Nigeria, despite the fact that we have different, supporting, we have a whole lot of data that can support the use of technology in tracking activities in this country. Even just the cell phone alone, without the NIN, without the NIM-C, without other data that the federal government can boast of, can do a whole lot of justice in the use of technology to curb such illicit activities of kidnapping, robbery, and every other activity that is ongoing in the country. But one thing that baffles me is the fact that the federal government, the security apparatus in the country, has decided not to utilize the technology that is available in securing the people. And that tells us a whole lot about the effort, about the sincerity of government in nabbing insecurity in the country. See, this nonsense of kidnapping, nonsense of using support, because you cannot successfully collect money from anybody without the use of technology. You cannot communicate without the use of technology. And in America, this nonsense cannot happen. Even not just in America, it cannot happen to any American. If an American is kidnapped, even in Kutuwenje, or is kidnapped in Chad, is kidnapped in Iran, is kidnapped in Israel, do you know that Americans have all the technology to track and get these kidnappers in less than 24 hours? Why are we not using technology? Why are we not having this bilateral understanding with advanced technology in the world in order to secure the people of the world? After all, Nigerians are part of global citizens. Nigerians that are kidnapped are part of that global citizens that the United Nations tend to secure and protect. And then America is also a country sitting on the Security Council of the United Nations. So by and large, the Nigerian government have all it takes to establish this communication and argument that American government or advanced technology in the world should support these developing or evolving technology countries or developing countries with this technology to be able to track and, arrest any group that having their formation in our forest and using that to commit a whole lot of atrocities against humanity.
Now, Peter Desmond, moving on, it didn't happen in Osun State, but Governor Adeleke has reportedly ordered for increased security surveillance in Osun following the Oyo kidnappings. It begs to question the initiative of safer schools that had humongous amounts deployed to ensure that learning institutions across the country are safeguarded. Well, what do you make of his orders, and how best do you view that project being better implemented to curtail these recurring kidnappings?
First of all, the target has always been the northern part of Nigeria, to be candid, to be sincere with you. I think this would be one of the first ever school kidnapping in these numbers that will be coming out of the southwestern Nigeria. Kidnapping is apparently more in the northern part of Nigeria and northern central part of Nigeria. But now you see that because of some of the initiatives and because of the effort of the government in trying to create create safety and to further secure our schools more in the northern Nigeria, you see that they now find other zones in the country like the southwest, for example, as a soft target, and that is why this invasion is taking place. So the core, what happened in the southwest, especially in Oyo, is actually a warning to every other state in the southwest Nigeria. So the effort by Governor Adeleke is timely, to see that, because if you look at the proximity between Oyo, Osun, Ogun, as well as Ekiti, as well as Lagos, you see, is actually a concern, should be a concern to all the governors. So what Governor Adeleke is doing is what we expect, is expectedly that most governors in the southwest should be of security and ensure that there is no recurrent acts in our schools or anywhere in the southwest.
Now, it's also a countdown to how much this is impacting the lives of parents and caregivers, because 4 days after both those that happened in Borno and in Oyo, we have families who are left wondering what the fate of their loved ones are, whilst we're calling on governments in the respective states to expedite action. What do you make of the trauma, even on the part of the kidnapped victims as well?
This is not a good news to any family. And you can imagine what some of these parents of these children will be going through right now. You see, especially in a country where we do not take seriously the lives of our people. You see, the kind of value we place on lives of our Nigerians, I think we need to work more on that as a people. We need to place better value. Federal government needs to give Nigerians that sense of responsibility that every life of a Nigerian matters a lot. And it is not through speeches on televisions. It is through coordinated effort and activities that is put on ground to boost the morale and the confidence of the citizen that the government is on top of this game. For this is a whole lot. It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot. For this is a whole lot. You see, sometimes it will look as if the government is just interested in maintaining their positions as president, as governors, as leaders, but they are not interested in the security and the safety of the citizens. So for this is a whole lot of days, to unravel this. And I don't know how expensive it is, to deploy the use of technology, in securing Nigeria. Billions of Nigerian money have been budgeted for security for more than 14 good years. Till date, we've not made any major earthwaves, sources. We've not recorded major successes in the security of these people. Most of the time, you see that governors pay ransom. How can government be paying ransom? That means the security of the country is jeopardized. So government should not in any way be negotiating with bandits or kidnappers. And then some people who are playing politics with the lives of people. You can see that Oyo State is not in APC. It's not an APC state, as well as Osun State. But what about Borno State, that is also APC state? That is to tell you that it is not about party. It's about government needs to intensify effort in ensuring that there is security in the country, in all states, irrespective of the political environment.
Well, we must thank you, Patriot, for joining us this morning to lend your thoughts and reactions to this very disturbing story. We keep our fingers crossed while hoping that this teachers, principals, and school children will be reunited with their families in earnest. Thank you very much for joining us.
The pleasure is always mine. Thank you.